Hello and a very warm welcome to December 2023's Almanac. I hope you're doing well and are remaining as warm as you can. So, the boat has been brought in for the winter months very wisely, and the crew, as far as I know, are somewhere in Glasgow. They've got some work in a kitchen and I can't wait to hear more from them. Okay. So without further ado, let us tune in to see what they have to say. The warmest welcome to December. This is Midwinter by Dorothy Malloy. Cut flowers in a vase this night, orange, golden, and snow white. Dark green leaves and darker stems take me where the dark earth bends its darkened forehead to the east, where Lucy lights the candles for her feast. December, meaning of course 10. Welsh, Rhagfyr, Cornish, Mis Cavadu. Scots Gaelic, Indoloch. Irish, Mín Anolog, Manx, Mín Anolog, or Mín Gowrie. What did the English used to call December before we were Romanized? Let us ask the Venerable Bede, or Bede. Oh yes, he's back, baby. Let's wheel him in on cue. Right. That's interesting. So he's just told me that in the reckoning of time, he actually explained how the entire winter solstice period was known as Yule or Gēolmōnaþ. So this didn't just include December, but January also. So December became known as Era Gēolmōnaþ and January as Aftera Gēolmōnaþ. Era, the preceding, and Aftera, the following. And we can clearly see the etymology of Aftera becoming after. Oh, thanks, Bede. That was as helpful as all what... Oh, sorry, he's already gone. He doesn't always like me summoning him like this. I'm sure I'll be back, though. In regards to the splitting of the 2 months of December and January into Era and Aftera, we do see the same thing with the summer solstice. Do you remember Era Litha June and Aftera Litha July? A nice mirroring there at the important lightest and darkest portion of the wheel of the year. 2 months where we build up to and then fall away from the sun's zenith in June and rebirth in December. Yule, which is spelled G-E-O-L, is related to the Old Norse Yule or Yule, J-O-L, the name of a pagan winter feast. Many of the customs of the Feast of Yule influenced the ways that Christmas is celebrated, such as the tradition of burning a Yule log at this time of the year. Interestingly, Modranicht, which is Old English for Night of the Mothers or Mother's Night, was an event held at what is now Christmas Eve by Anglo-Saxon pagans. The event is solely attested by the medieval English historian, that's right, Bede, in his 8th century Latin work, yes, The Reckoning of Time. I won't wheel him in again. I think I've already used up my tokens for this month. So yeah, let's directly read from The Reckoning of Time, in which we see that Bede writes that the pagan Anglo-Saxons, quote, began the year on the 25th of December when we celebrate the birth of the Lord. That very night, which we hold so sacred, they used to call by the heathen word Modranicht, that is, Mother's Night, because we suspect, he continues, of the ceremonies they enacted all that night. So, it has been proposed that there is a connection between the Anglo-Saxons' Modranicht and events attested among other Germanic peoples, and specifically those involving the Dices, collective female ancestral beings. We don't have the time here to get into this as much as I'd like. Unfortunately, I do try to be quite thorough, and when I don't have time, I do let you know. So just to say here, just to pop a bookmark here, but it is notable, isn't it, that the Anglo-Saxons celebrated this Mother's Night at this crucial point of the year. We don't really think about Christmas these days as, I don't know, being a particularly symbolic-wise female time, do we? But it is of note that we do have this Anglo-Saxon association with mothers and female spirits at this darkest point of the year before the sun is reborn. Talking more generally of ancestral beings, Yuletide is an excellent time of the year to consider yours. If you're listening to this as a complete show on streaming platforms, then we've just discussed the ancestors, so I won't rehash what we've already looked at. However, if you're listening to this as a standalone video on YouTube, please consider, considering your ancestors this time of the year. We spend more time at home in the winter, don't we? Cozying up and trying to stay warm. We're thinking more about family, so if you'd like to follow a very ancient tradition indeed, then don't forget to extend that cheer and goodwill to those who have moved on, but who are never forgotten. If you woke up in Portishead at the beginning of December, you saw the sun rise at 7:55 and set at 16:05. Portrush, sunrise 8:30 and set at 1600. And Perth, sunrise 8:25 and sunset at 15:40. 15:40, oh dear, well, not long now, those of you in Scotland, in the coming weeks, the tide will be turning. On the 12th of December, we have the new moon before the full moon on the 26th. And what a nice thought that we'll have a lovely full moon for Christmas, especially helpful if you're toddling home from a public house on Christmas Eve. I hardly need to tell you that the solstice will be this month, so however you celebrate it is always a good time for a moment of reflection at this magical point of the year. Whatever that means for you, from lighting a tea light, going for a walk, or maybe making a nice hot toddy as we cheers the sun's triumphant return. I am so cold that I cannot feel my fingers, and I'm under about 3 blankets as I record this. Sun, please come back to us. Today's place of the month is a literary inspired one. So, hidden away in the grounds of the historic St Edward's Church, Stow-on-the-Wold, is a mystical door, with its studded wooden panels flanked on either side by ancient yew trees and an old lamp hanging above it. It does feel like something from another world. Like the surrounding area, the parish church of St Edward is of medieval origin, and there is evidence to suggest that there has been a holy temple on this site since 708 AD. It draws many visitors each year, but not just for what lies inside the church's walls, but for the curious yew tree doorway on its north porch. Many call this the Tolkien door. Indeed, there is a local legend that says that J.R.R. Tolkien visited this church and the entrance inspired his Doors of Durin in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He did make many tours of the Cotswolds whilst he was an academic at Oxford. However, we cannot prove one way or the other that the Door of St Edward's was a direct inspiration. However, the possibility is certainly there given its location, and it is very enjoyable to at least consider as you stand beneath the two impressive views that flank the beautiful arched door with that colourful stained glass above. Whilst, like I said, we cannot directly prove that St Edward's was the inspiration for Tolkien, what is more tangible, however, and something the Tolkien Society has actually proven, is that the nearby pub, the Bell Inn of Moreton in Marsh, was used as inspiration for Tolkien's The Prancing Pony. So, Tolkien's brother lived in Eversham, a small market town in Worcestershire. J.R.R. and his family visited his brother's farm and stayed many times, and according to him, quote, Worcestershire was more like home than any other part of the world. On many occasions, while he was an academic at Oxford, Tolkien would arrange to meet his brother Hilary in Moreton in Marsh. It was the perfect meeting place as it was located halfway between the homes of the two brothers. So yeah, they would meet up at the Bell in Moreton in Marsh and have a lengthy catch up over a pint in a tiny corner of the pub. As the two Tolkien brothers almost always sat at the same table to meet, today the Bell has immortalised this little corner of the pub, and there is a large picture of Middle-earth directly above this corner. It's very easy to spot as soon as you walk in, and I just love this making sacred of this meeting point for the two brothers. So yeah, if you're in the area this winter, why not lift your spirits by visiting this striking door at the north side of St Edward's before enjoying a pint or two at the Bell, and who knows, perhaps you'll find a spot in the brothers' favourite corner. I wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas time. I'll talk to you soon.